Hello and welcome to another edition of Straight from the Training Ground, the podcast where we share our love for the beautiful game and the people out in our communities doing beautiful things. And this week we have a great guest with us, founder of Smallside, which we'll tell you about here in a little bit, Ryan Hendricks. Ryan, thank you so much for not only being on here, but thank you so much also for what you're trying to do for the game of soccer.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and talk about it.
Well, before we get into the specifics of what you're trying to do right now, just tell everybody a little bit about your background in soccer, just in general, maybe growing up, sports, those kind of things.
Yeah, I think I probably had a similar experience to a lot of people. When I was really young, I played, Parks and Rec league soccer. We were the orange team. I played a little bit in a youth club growing up. And I think when I was around, 12 years old, I tried out for like a travel team and I really wanted it. And I think I got sort of tentatively accepted to the B squad. And it just put so much pressure on me as a young athlete in a game that I really loved. And I think I just kind of dropped out of it because of that. So I didn't play for a little while. I tried some other sports, and finally in high school, there's an opportunity for me to try out for the varsity team, and I didn't play until my junior year, and I tried out and made the varsity team and captained it my senior year, and kind of fell back in love with the game again. And I went on to play D3 soccer at a small liberal arts college in Wisconsin. No real big pressure, and just kind of rediscovered again my love for the game, and I played sort of pickup and rec after that.
Very nice. And so now, recently, I don't want to put a timestamp on it, but you have created your own clothing line regarding soccer, but kind of with a different twist on it. But your goal overall is with Smallside is to create a clothing brand that also takes the profits and is able to build soccer spaces for youth in our country, which is something we're very passionate about here at Straight from the Training Ground. Tell everybody a little bit more about kind of your overall goal.
Yeah, I think what I notice as sort of soccer emerges professionally in the country, and I'm a big fan of the sport globally, and I watch EPL is something I'm really passionate about, and I think just the way that soccer is sort of ingrained in everyday life and culture in places outside of the United States is something that really fascinated me. And I think it's part of it is an access problem. We do have a lot of soccer programs in the United States, but they all kind of center around these complexes and large fields, and there's sort of destinations that not everyone can go to. And you look around, an everyday, local neighborhood, and there are baseball fields and small basketball courts that are sort of ubiquitous with, United States culture. And I thought, why can't the same be said for little, soccer fields or micro pitches where people can go and love the game, as they do, as they, love to watch professionals and watch, the World Cup and the national team. And why can't they have those spaces where they can, practice their footwork or, their small-sided play? And I think those spaces should be available for everyone. And there's just not enough of them right now. So I thought, why can't I create something where the community that uses those spaces can help build them? And I thought, a unique clothing brand where people can help build those fields and feel pride in what's being built, and they can use what they're helping build.
I love it, and I couldn't agree with you more. And like you said, you alluded to, there are all these destinations and parks and large facilities for soccer, but that's not really a daily fix, for kids. It's not something in your neighborhood where most kids, like you said, are going to be able to just walk across the street, and kick a ball around, play 2v2 with a couple of their friends or something like that, which is really, to me, and I think you, and a lot of the other countries around the world, that's the basic form of soccer. That's where that love, really grows. So that kind of answers your question. The next question I was going to ask is kind of like, what was your motivation to start this? Do you want to give a little more detail to people out there that might watch this as to how, like, do you want to create your own court from scratch, or do you want to take existing, like you said, maybe basketball courts and parking lots and spaces?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You know, and I kind of alluded to it a little bit. I don't want to create a brand new destination. I want to create spaces where the game sort of already exists or wants to exist. So there are a lot of unused green spaces that it might be city owned or municipal land that I'm hoping to turn into sort of this mini field. So whether that is like an abandoned parking lot or concrete court, or if it's sort of a vacant lot in a residential neighborhood that I'm able to acquire and partner with a community to build these spaces. So it could look like a vacant green space in between a couple houses in a neighborhood. It could look like a vacant commercial lot, downtown area that's not being used. And the fields can be various sizes. I don't want it to be sort of this format where I'm trying to squeeze in a template into every place. I want it to feel like it already belongs, and just provide really a safe space for kids to play.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly what our country needs more of. I'm
Mhm.
very passionate about that. Obviously, you are. If you've gotten to this juncture of starting your own clothing line,
Mhm.
so we need more of that in this country, and that's the culture that I'm really passionate about trying to create. So we're really glad to have you on here again. If you're just joining us, we're with Ryan Hendricks, creator and founder of Smallside. Make sure you check them out. We'll make sure to put their Instagram and TikTok links in the description below. And also just a reminder to like and subscribe our channel. It helps us out. We appreciate everybody out there that's watched so far. Ryan, we've had entrepreneurs on here before, and I don't know, we didn't talk off camera yet really about your background in business or anything like that. But
Mhm.
as all entrepreneurs can tell you, what have been some of your biggest challenges so far in the process?
Yeah, I think the hardest part is trying to identify like which lane I want to create for my audience, and I want this to be as community built as possible. So just trying to figure out what is it that people want in a line that represents who they are as pickup and rec players. Um, so I'm really trying to embrace that audience as it's building, and that's why it's really important for me to connect early with folks before I even launch anything, because I don't want this to be sort of a vanity project and something that I would just wear or produce. I want it to be something that feels like it really represents the community. So in that regard, it's those little details that I'm trying to get right, and it feels slow. I think people when they see the when they see the idea, they're like, "Oh, where can I buy a shirt?" It's like, well, I'm just trying to figure out like who this is for and like what they want, and that's been a challenge in that regard, but a really great one that I'm like happy to be taking on, because I want to learn more about the people that we'll be serving, and I think it's really important. So I think to answer your question, it's the challenge is time. It's I wish it was out now,
Yeah.
but I want to get it right, and that's the hard part, and the fun part.
Yeah, well, I think like you said, you don't want to rush things. You do want to get it right, and
Mhm.
quality is better. So, uh, I think you're on the right track there. Um, can you give us a little bit of an idea? I followed you on TikTok and Instagram, and that's how we kind of connected. And I've seen a couple things behind the scenes,
Yeah.
but just in your grand kind of picture, what are some things you're planning on putting
I
out?
think it's important to establish that I don't want to create, like at least right now, sort of an active wear line. Like I don't want this to be performance wear. It's really meant to live sort of the in between spaces. It's something that you can wear as you're warming up, as you're getting ready to play. Something you wear on the sideline. Something you can wear every day to show your love of the game and the game that you play. So yeah, I'm looking at doing sort of these midweight hoodies that sort of live. They can they can live on and off the pitch. Looking at doing like crew necks, something that's a little bit more elevated. T-shirts, of course, that can feel a little bit more heavy, that you can wear just sort of off field, but again, something a little bit lighter. You can wear on the pitch, and I'm also looking to do sort of these rec rec packs. So every player that joins a rec team, they need to have a certain color T-shirt. And I
Yeah.
often find myself like, I just don't have like a purple shirt, and my team is purple.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to do like, if you want, you can buy these sort of neutral colored or variable colored shirts that feel sort of neutral and can fit in any space. But if you want to buy them in your team, you can buy a pack of 7. So
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone's all matching. So I'm looking at those like pieces as well.
Yeah. Shout out to the orange team, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we've all been there as adults. You go to pick up or you join a league, and you're like, "What color are we?" And you just find a shirt. So I
Yep.
think that's a great idea. Great idea. I love it. So you're fairly early on in the process right now. What would you say, or what do you feel like is one of your biggest accomplishments so far?
Yeah, I am really proud of sort of the growth that I've gotten so early on in the audience that I'm trying to build. I think it's just a testament to how passionate people are about the sport and wanting to create the spaces that I'm hoping to create. So, building an audience on TikTok and Instagram has been really important to me because I want that feedback and I want people to get excited. And so I'm really proud that there's just this vocal community and it's so supportive. I mean, it's just a testament to the impact that the game has on its community, and it's really exciting to be part of.
I can agree with you. I just from experience, I think my as a person at social media, there's a lot of negativity out there and things like that
Mhm.
and controversy, but there are some positives. And with this podcast and when I was starting, I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. And reaching out to people, it is amazing. You find some people in that little, you know, niche or corner of the world that can help you out. And there's some people that helped me out that I have no idea who they are. I've never met them to this day, but online it's, oh, try this or use this, software equipment. And I'm sure that you're kind of reaching those spaces as well. So there are some positives of social media, and we're very, happy and excited for what you're trying to create. What advice do you have for other entrepreneurs, people out there who have an idea? Because as I said, we've had entrepreneurs on here before of various stages in their business. And I think the challenge is there are a lot of people out there in everyday life, right, that have an idea. You're going to
Mhm.
work or you're sitting around after a game with your buddies and you have an idea, but to actually make that idea come to fruition is a big step. So what advice do you have to anyone out there, not even soccer related, but they might have an idea as an entrepreneur? What's your advice to them?
Yeah, I think it's try to do one small thing every day, towards your goal. It can be a big step, small step. Just if you're making any sort of progress, a slow pace is still a pace, and it's you're making those incremental steps to realizing something that you are passionate about. So um, any movement forward is movement. So I guess that's the best advice I can give is, it feels like there's a mountain in front of you all the time, but
Sure.
you're never gonna scale it unless you climb it, you know?
Love it. Great advice. Slow and steady wins the race, right?
Yeah. Yep,
And it is
absolutely.
a long journey, like you said, it's not something you're gonna do overnight, but, I love that advice and hope anyone that watches this, takes that to heart. If you have an idea out there, like Ryan, we really appreciate it. Again, if you're just tuning in, we're here with Ryan Hendricks, the founder and creator of Smallside, a unique clothing brand that is, creating soccer clothing for pickup and small-sided games, and in turn, taking the profits from that and trying to build soccer spaces for kids in our country. Ryan, we'll get you out of here with one more question. In a perfect world, we're going to go from the beginning now to the end. In a perfect world, several years from now, you're dreaming, right? What would you love to see from Smallside?
Mm. Yeah, I think, when I first started this, the large vision is, there's small side fields in every major city in the country and expanding globally. But I'd love to be able to create sort of small side academies where kids that don't have access can get sort of this elevated experience of professional learning around the sport. And um, I think that'd be amazing for me is to have that available for kids.
I agree. I think that would be amazing, and I wish you all the best of luck. I hope to see that too. That's what our country needs. That's what we're very passionate about here, straight from the training ground. Make sure you check out our links below. Ryan and Smallside. He's very active almost daily on Instagram and TikTok. I believe Ryan, it's a Smallside CO, correct?
Yep, at Small Side Co. Yep.
So make sure you check them out on Instagram and TikTok. Ryan, we really appreciate all the time and effort, your love and passion for soccer, small-sided soccer, pickup soccer, and what you're trying to do out there for kids in our country. Make sure you check them out. And again, before we leave, your plan, hopefully to get some products out here leading up to the World Cup this summer, correct?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great time for people to be interested in the game more than they ever have in the United States. So I'm excited to be a part of that wave, and hopefully, start building these fields for kids.
Amazing. Keep up the great work, Ryan. We really appreciate your time. People, make sure you check out Smallside on Instagram and TikTok. Until next time, straight from the training ground.